is the young man that's saying he's my son, Mark Childers. I'm trying to get another one of him. I've got another picture. Here it is. Maybe I don't know if I can switch this while I'm on here, but guess I can't. So I don't know. Anyway, it went off again, which is odd. It usually can't turn. Okay, this is the guy that's. I'll get it in a minute. Bear with me, everybody, because it's not good. I love my sons, so don't play around with me with my children. All right, you've done enough of it. This is the guy that's pretending he's Mark, my son. Back in 2010, and excuse the bed and all that, I'm showing my little bitty bedroom. I just put some stuff up about this, about him not being my son. Over these years, not knowing where they were, and one of the last times, let me rephrase it, God knows don't let me make any little error here, was they were with a U.S. Marshal, and I ended up saying, I couldn't make this up. How dare somebody call me a liar, especially this person. Last time I saw, near the last time, I saw my sons, Mark and Scott, was when my ex-husband was allowed, after I'd done a medical malpractice book, MD License to Kill, about mind control murders. Larry Flint was one. He was shot in Lawrenceville and his attorney killed while I was in Marietta, Georgia, doing the book. I'm putting this in there because I put Hustler magazine where they endorsed me and all this later during the campaign to let you know what was going on. I did the book, and it involved a lot of doctors. Larry McDonald, Congressman Doctor Plain, later went down that he was on the KAL, and it killed all aboard. It was from Juneau, Alaska to Seoul, South Korea. The Russians shot it down because it veered into their airspace, and that's also what you can do with mind control. You can put the pilot, I don't care how many you want on there, or you can put the U.S. Marshal or flight attendant. You can have them with what they're fooling around with and have been for a long time, and you can Google. It doesn't matter. Okay, that's what you can do with it. But anyway, I was in that campaign, and the reason I said this, my ex-husband, John Childers, had supposedly moved back in with us at Laurelwood Apartments. This is after Moonraker, when I was doing the book in Marietta, License to Kill. And by the way, the movies License to Kill and Moonraker came out just after then, if you check the dates, so I haven't made anything up. How dare someone as bad as it's been. Anyway, I went out to, and I'm going to go ahead and put this, Laura Childers was his sister. And she was living in Abilene, Texas, and she had promised, so many things were being done to my children, and I thought it was because of the book. I didn't know about being kidnapped and being from England or brought to Moulton, Alabama, any of that, which is all on YouTube. Till 83. But getting back to Laurelwood Apartments in Marietta, I had done the book trying to get it published, and so much happened that I had a letter from the U.S. Attorney and the FBI, the whole bill. One of them was Agent Guest. I don't know if that was he was the good guy. I don't want to get these people in trouble. So was Malcolm Barber, who later called me and worked. He said he was calling from Hustler magazine. So I'm giving that, and I want to get back to John Childers. I went to the manager at Laurelwood, and I told her, because it was my lease, I told her he was my ex-husband, and I said he was going to be staying there sporadically just to help us because it had been sugar put in the lifters of Mark's car, and all kinds of stuff happened. Well, she knew it and said it was okay. It was my lease, had already been there, and my deposit. Well, so much happened that it was about the 1st or 8th of March, I guess, of 80. His sister Laura, who lives now just outside Austin, said I could come out there and live with her for a week or two until and see if I could get a job, and she would help me. And if I got a job, I was going to move my kids out there to get away from the mess. I didn't know about being kidnapped. I thought it was the book. So I called her just before I left, and everything was fine. I was low on money, kept low on money, and I got out to just outside of Dallas. Spent the night at a Days Inn. I'd driven all that way and slept in the rest areas from Atlanta. So I went on, and I called her that morning from Days Inn, and I told her, well, I'm on my way, and I just called her before I left, and her whole attitude changed. She told me I could not come to turn around and go back. Well, I did. The problem is when I got back to Marietta, they had allowed my ex-husband to take my furniture from my apartment at Laurelwood and use his name for a new lease and my deposit. In other words, I didn't have a place anymore. They had allowed him to do it. And then come to find out, I remembered then that the manager there had told me that her uncle, I believe she said it was real close, her brother or uncle, was in charge of the Patty Hearst kidnapping. So you get into the Hearst and people that helped kidnap me. I mean, it goes way up to the top. The Illuminati, the New World Order, and the Hearsts were way back then. But this is way back when they kidnapped me. So anyway, that's when I had antifreeze put in me. And my ex-husband, I was illegally taken across the state line. I should have died. It was a living hell my whole life, but that was a new one. And I even had and my ex-husband had to get it. Tox report was finally made and showed that the antifreeze was in me. Nobody would touch it. I turned it over to media, and I was in the living hell trying to keep it together, and my kids were with him back in Marietta. He had my apartment, and he's been diagnosed as a psychopath. And so was Lina Dempsey and a Dr. Gonzalez, that a gag order was put on what was happening. And I had a Dr. Kenneth Reagan tell me, he said, it's odd that 3 people who are so prominent in your life are psychopaths. And that's exactly what he said. And Eugene Kaiser, I think, is dead. He's DA, was a former Fulton County, Atlanta DA. He was my attorney in 75. And all this was, well, anyway, I wanted to say this, that my ex-husband married Twyla Pelham, I can't even remember her name, Pelham or something. But in essence, this was all put together. What they did to me afterwards was ludicrous, trying to have me locked up, everything to keep me from trying to, I had my jobs blocked later. I'd worked for the VA in 80. Anybody can check it out after the antifreeze. Until he was up for re-election, and I worked for Golden Triangle. They were CIA, and then I worked for Computer Science Corporation, who fired me after a couple, 3 months and said, hey, suddenly they called me and they said, you work for the district attorney. You have to get out of here. And they were screaming like mad people. And I left, and then I couldn't get jobs anymore for a while. I was literally on the side of the road. So don't tell me I lied about anything. But that's about the last time I saw my children was, I saw them a couple of times briefly after then in about 82. But that was April Fool Day of 80 when I had antifreeze put in me. Lois Pearson was one of them. I don't know who all got in on it. The doctors, you should see what happened when I went for a tox screen. I want to ask you, if 1 minute of this happened to you, and I've put this on I haven't gotten all this stuff out and laid it out. What I wanted to say and get it on this little bitty video is that is not my son Mark, and that's not my son Scott. I don't know where they are. I frankly hope the British have them somewhere safe. So this is the picture that Mark, that I just put on here, the one that's saying he's Mark, sent me in 2011 March, when the one saying he was Scott had come up to Roanoke here, and he told me